Hey everyone, hey. So we are here back on our channel. We're done with our mini May challenge, even though I'll still be weighing in and talking about that. These videos will probably start to have a bit more substance to them as far as different things that are on my mind that I would like to share, or if you have any questions, me responding to those and talking a bit more in depth about those things as well. So I did weigh in today. This morning I weighed in at 270.7, so I'm at the same weight as yesterday. We haven't had that in the last 20 days because you all know we've been weighing in since May 12th and we haven't had any days where the weight stayed exactly the same. And I can't lie, I was ready to see the 260s again today because you all know we're really in the 260s. The 270 is just a fluffy little time for me enjoying myself at a bridal shower, which I have no regrets about. But I have shared this with you before. The 270s seem to just want to stick to me like glue. It's been, is June now? Yeah. So it's been about a year that I have just been in the 270s for the most part. I've had a couple times where I would see the 260s and then we'd go right back into the 270s. And I'm sick of it. Over it. So over it. And I was sharing with my friends over on Instagram that, I had the thought process of being like, okay, every time you get close to like the edge of the 270s, like the top of the 270s, you need to not do anything fun. Don't go to no events. Don't say, hey, this is the time to find balance. Don't do none of that. So that way you can get into the mid 260s. And then when you get into the mid 260s, if you decide to have fun and the scale goes up, it's not going back up to the 270s. Because my fun is not giving me 5 pounds worth of weight. I usually don't. It's usually not doing that. 2 to 3. And then I thought, no, that's not the mindset I want to have. Because if I'm really thinking about it, that means I'm just giving more power to the scale. Because the scale says I'm 270, right? But the gym tells me I'm getting stronger. I can lift more weights. I can go for longer. My clothes are fitting better. I like the way my shape is really coming together. I can see all the things that tell me that the progress I'm making is the progress I want to make. I just don't want to see that 270. I'm over it, especially because my end goal is 200. I'm going to spend a year at 70 pounds heavier than I want to be. And it's not for lack of trying. I've done everything. And then I had to go back and remember, Nakia, you had a hysterectomy. The body that I had at the top of my weight loss journey before I got my hysterectomy is not the same body. It does not function the same. And I was trying to make it function the same. I haven't spent time actually learning the new body. The minute I was healed enough to get back into things, I just started to get back into things. I continued to eat the way I was eating post-surgery because that way helped me to lose weight consistently and steadily. So I said, oh, that'll continue to help. So I'll just keep the same foods. And then I'll build my way back up to the strength and all that stuff that I had post-surgery. Because, after a hysterectomy, you just don't have full body strength. And it takes a long time to heal because they're going through layers and layers of skin and muscle. And so you have to take time to get back to the workout portions of everything. But I never really took the time to relearn my body and to see what works, what didn't work. And I honestly think that's a huge part of why I stayed in the 270s. My brain was telling me that I should be able to move a lot faster in the process than my body was actually able to handle. And I can't measure the internal healing, I might be thinking, oh, I no longer have to use my walker. I should be perfectly fine to do X, Y, and Z. My body's like, no. We're not actually in the place you think we're in internally. And so while we're working on that, the weight loss is just going to have to wait a second. I don't know. But I do know that I can get beyond it, and I will get beyond it. And it has helped me to take a step back and look at this past year, what all happened in this past year, and why the 270 stuck with me so deeply. And I've heard people online say stuff like, there's your body, certain bodies are not meant to go and, beyond a certain amount of weight loss, or maybe your body was never supposed to be that weight. And I don't subscribe to that. Not in the slightest. Not in the slightest. I've been 250 pounds before and maintained it. So I know my body's not supposed to be stuck in the 270s. I've been 300 pounds before and maintained it for a very long time. So I know my body's not supposed to be stuck in the 270s. If my body has been in all these other weight ranges and been in those weight ranges for a good amount of time, I could have said the same thing about my body then. If I would have believed that, hey, my body don't want to move from 300 pounds, I would have never made it to 270. If I didn't see my body hit 250, even though back then when I was doing it, it was not in a very healthy or sustainable way, but if I didn't see my body hit 250, maybe now I wouldn't have the goal to say, hey, I'm going to get back to 200. I wouldn't think it was possible. But I know it's possible. So I'm very excited for moving forward. I'm very excited, even though I'm annoyed that I saw that 270 today. Very excited to continue to push forward and to hit our goals. Y'all know that's what we do here. And you can do it too. I hope you are watching, maybe because this is something that you hope is possible for you. And I hope that these words remind you to take a step back to see where you actually are. Don't think it. Now, this might be hard to swallow, but don't think about your progress from your goal perspective. Think about your progress from the reality perspective. Because your goal and your reality, they're not in the same place. And if you're so busy looking at the goal, you might dismiss all the work that you're doing, because the reality of it is that it's going to take time. The reality is that in the moment, your body might be dealing with something far beyond your comprehension. Your body might be healing from hysterectomy. Your body might be healing from having a child. Your body might be healing from an accident of some sort. Your body might be healing from illness, sickness. We really don't know, because our brains, once we're able to start doing certain things, our norm again, we tell ourselves that everything is all fine. But we don't know that for sure. Our bodies do know it. So look at the reality perspective. Keep your goal in mind, of course, but hold on to the reality of it. So that way you're not putting undue pressure on yourself within this journey. I would highly, highly recommend that. So yeah, that's where we are. I'm still at 270 today. I know I just touched on it very briefly that I had a hysterectomy. Did I share that with you all? Briefly in the past. If you'd like to know more about that and why I had the hysterectomy and all that, I don't mind sharing. I'm perfectly fine to share that. But I did just want to share that today for the purposes of this video, talking about, being in a weight that you don't want to be in, and having to realize like, hey, there could be other factors for why I'm here, not just me not being consistent. Because that's the main thing people go to. If you tell someone, especially someone who does not understand truly a weight loss journey, someone who has never been morbidly obese in any way, shape, or form, going on a weight loss journey is not the same as someone who has been or someone who is. It's just not. Don't let nobody tell you different. The methods to get there, to losing the weight, can be the same for both people, but it's not the same journey. I'm losing weight that has been on my body for 15 plus years. You're losing weight that's been on your body for 2. It's not the same. It's not the same. Anyway, let me go back to where I was, the point that I was making before I hopped into that other point right there. Where was I? So yeah, being in the same place, and it's not because you're in that same place for a year because you haven't been doing the work. It's not because you were, not tracking your food or not working out consistently or not really paying attention to what you were putting in your body, things like that, like the typical things that they would tell you. That's why you've been in the same way for a year, because you thought you were doing something right, but you were actually doing it all wrong. There are other factors. I can assure you that there are other factors. So give yourself some grace, okay? Some grace. I say some, not all, because sometimes it's a mixture of both. Sometimes it's not the other factors at all. Sometimes it's just you really didn't do the work. And we got to be honest with ourselves about it. We got to be honest with ourselves about it. You know when you've done the work and you know when you haven't. And then you know when you have done the work and something else was going on at the same time, but you're so busy thinking, well, I'm doing the work, so it should be working anyway. And then you realize maybe that other thing, maybe it was bigger than what I realized. A hysterectomy is huge. They told me it would take 9 months for my body to fully recover and heal. I had that hysterectomy in May of last year. So we just hit the 12-month mark. And I told y'all, I've been stalled in the 270s for it's been a year now, because I came out of that surgery. See, dang, now this video is going everywhere. So realistically, when I came out of the hysterectomy, I was still at my weight, the same weight that I was before the hysterectomy. A couple days after my hysterectomy, the thing that it was going to take 8 months for my body to heal from, I had to go back to the hospital because I had an abscess in my abdomen and it had burst, and then I went into sepsis. So I was hospitalized for 2 weeks after my hysterectomy, and that whole process completely separate from the 8 months of healing I already had built in from the hysterectomy. So imagine 8 months for sure you're going to need to get full recovery. Now your body goes septic and you hospitalized for 2 weeks. And I don't know what that did to my body. If you don't know what sepsis is, it's when something like sickness gets into your bloodstream. Yes, and your body starts to shut down. That's why early when I mentioned, like, you have to use a walker, and now I don't have to use a walker anymore. I had to use a walker. I didn't have the strength to use my legs. And they had to assist me in doing that and getting back to the point where I could even walk long periods of time using the walker. A lot happened to me during that time. A lot happened during that time that I have never addressed. Ever. And here I am on this video with you all, realizing that I have not addressed it. I didn't give myself any grace during that time. The only thing I had was the Lord and praying that he would allow me to live and some family and my pastor and some friends. And I gotta be honest, I didn't really see that I had the family, my pastor, and my friends, because I literally thought that I was going to die. So the only thing I was focused on was praying to the Lord that he would bring me through it. In the 2 weeks that I was hospitalized, my grandmother, one of my grandmothers, passed. And maybe this is why, I was doing shorter videos. Because maybe I knew that I might sit down to have a conversation with you all and it might go other places. Places that I didn't realize I needed to address or step into or acknowledge. Just maybe. We will see the direction in which the Lord takes this page. Wherever he wants me to go, I will go here. And I hope that you all join me here along for the journey. But anyway, I'm gonna veer back. I'm gonna try to drive us back and pull a Yui. Not illegal. This is my own little world, and in my world, U-turns are legal, and so I'm making a Yui in that world. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. So, where were we? So a lot happened in that time, and who knows how long it really took my body to recover. So even with doing all the things that I was doing prior, which saw steady weight loss, my body had other things set as the priority. And I firmly believe that that is the majority of how I became stuck in the 270s for a year. And I say majority because I know that there were also other factors, like when I was on Broadway. And I will do that in a whole separate video, because otherwise we could be here all day talking about, oh, you had a weight loss. You didn't have weight loss surgery. Somebody thought I had weight loss surgery because they saw the marks on my stomach from the hysterectomy. And that happened over on TikTok. And I was talking to people and they're like, oh my gosh, you had weight loss surgery and now you're trying to. I was like, baby, no. I did not. I know you think you know something that you don't know. But I can tell you about a hysterectomy if you want to know anything about that. Okay, anyway, that is where we are. Y'all already know that the goal is 250 for this month, and we're going to hit that goal. I'm a firm believer. We're going to hit it. So I'm very excited. So that means we have 20 pounds. 20 pounds to go. Now, I lost 11.5 pounds in May, and that was just in the last 20 days of May, 11.5 pounds. And some of those days, y'all know, I wasn't 100%. So I truly feel like giving my full focus and everything to my goals here is going to really make this possible. And also, I just don't really believe I'm at 270. I believe like once all the water weight and the bloating and everything goes down, then I'm probably going to land right back where I was before, which is like 267. So that doesn't make it a full 20 pounds that needs to be lost, you know? Like my brain is like, I think it's doable. I think it's doable. Okay, and I was really supposed to sit down. This video was supposed to be a sit down about how I was eating the non-ultra processed foods. I mean, we're at 20 minutes. Sometimes people videos be long. Okay, if you needed to take a break, take your break. Let's get into it very quickly. I talked about a lot here so far. I'll wrap this puppy up. But I think it's been engaging. Has it been engaging? Let me know if this has been engaging for you. Let me know if you're still here. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, so very quickly. So for the month of May, when I did my Mini May challenge starting May 12th, I really focused on non-ultra processed foods. And so I ate that way about 90% of the time from May 12th to May 31st. And in doing that, I didn't track any of my food. I didn't track any food at all. And that's usually what I do. I'm usually weighing, measuring, all that stuff to a T, writing it down, not writing it down, but putting it in the Lose It app. I really like the Lose It app. And that's usually what I do. Tracking my protein and my calories, most important. And so I didn't do that for May. And I wanted to see how my body was going to feel. I'm very good at gauging whether or not I've eaten enough, if I have enough energy to do my workouts, things like that. I did, y'all. I felt great. I felt totally great. I felt very in control of the foods that I was consuming. I focused mostly on just having like whole foods. So broccoli is my favorite. I love broccoli. Broccoli, green beans, sauerkraut, so I can get some good things for my gut. You know, having prebiotics and probiotics are super important. So make sure I did that. I would start every day, almost every day. Sometimes I would eat like while I was out, and so I didn't get to do this, but having a shot of apple cider vinegar to help when I do consume food to bring the sugar spike down, like insulin spike, to do that. Getting in my movement after I eat meals, to also help with bringing the insulin down. What other foods was I eating? Fruit, a lot of frozen berries would go into, I would do like a chia seed pudding. So I would do chia seeds, some oatmeal, plain Greek yogurt with mixed berries usually, and some honey on top. And I throw some nuts in there. Had some pumpkin seeds, do some aged cheddar. What else have I been eating? Eggs, red onion, and usually like a wrap of some sort. Because I like to have like a egg wrap breakfast thing. So yeah. And that was my daily eating. Oh, and an apple. And I would do that as my daily eating. And then I would have, only other time, like I'd eat out, if I'm eating out somewhere, that is when the processed foods would come in. Because everything else I'm eating is the non-ultra processed foods. And I feel, like I said, I feel good. So I want to continue on with that. I don't plan to change that. I haven't felt any hunger. I haven't felt like I'm not eating enough. I haven't felt extreme fatigue after weightlifting, because that's always a tell. I'm like, okay, Nakia, if you're lifting weights, are you not able to get through it? Because you're like, literally like, I can't sustain this. And not because like I'm maxing out on the weight I'm using, but because I literally don't have the strength. I have not fueled my body well enough to be lifting weights, heavy weights. And I never felt like that. So yeah. I feel pretty good. Oh, I didn't even talk about the meats that I was eating. My bad. Chicken thighs, ground turkey, ground beef. Those are the meats that I've had. I just added in chicken sausage to my breakfast, so I had that. I had some other meats that I was doing too I had like ham for breakfast. So those are the meats that I've been eating. I try to find meats that have as little processing as possible, in stores. I'm not talking about I'm going to the farm and saying, baby, no. I'll leave that to the professionals. I cut with knives in the kitchen. I don't cut animals. That's not my calling. So yeah, but that is it. It has been wonderful. And so I'm going to continue on with that. Like I just said, yeah, that's it. If anybody wants to know more about that, I do have a friend who I follow here on YouTube. I also follow her on Instagram and TikTok, and I'll be sure to share her information so that you can go ahead and follow her. She was actually the one who I saw talking about this. She's done a lot of in-depth research. It has worked well for her as well. And I had tried this very briefly in December of last year, and it worked out well for me then too. And yeah, so that's pretty much why I decided to give it a try. Especially because I don't want to track for the rest of my days. I don't. I know that I don't. And for me, the goal is to be able to eat freely. And for the most part, I do. I don't have a lot of insecurities around food anymore. And interestingly enough, when I find myself feeling insecure around food, it's usually other people around. Because I'm wondering if they are going to have something to say or think about what they see me eating, because they know I'm on a weight loss surgery, Lord, on a weight loss journey. So I do find that very interesting. I pay attention to it. Now I'm at the point of telling them I'm fine. What I'm doing works well for me. But sometimes it's a little hard. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up. I just had to share one last thing. So at the bridal shower that I went to on Saturday, they had okay options. There was a pecan and strawberry and feta salad. They had a Greek pasta salad. They had shrimp and grits. They had these chicken sliders and these Philly sliders and fruit. And I think that is everything that they had. So I had the salad. I got a chicken slider. Oh, meatballs. And I got some meatballs, and then I got a small side of the shrimp and grits. So what I did was I ate the salad first, right? Had my meatballs. The meatballs had some like barbecue kind of sauce on it, but it wasn't too sweet. And I was like, okay, I like the texture. I like this. I think this is good. I took the chicken slider apart and just had the chicken thigh that was on there. And I was like, okay, great. Have the shrimp and grits. Now I didn't get a lot of grits. I got a good amount of shrimp because I'm thinking like protein, blah, blah, blah. It was okay. But I was like, I'm probably not going to do this again. And then of course I had my fruit. When I went back up for more, because I didn't eat anything before we got there. So this is all I had eaten for the day. I went back, I got 2 more chicken sliders, and that was my thing. I just took the bread and all that stuff. I just ate the chicken thighs. So I had plain chicken thighs. I got more of the meatballs, and I got more of the fruit. And that was it. And so I tried my best to look at the option they had there and said, what do I feel I could eat that's going to make me feel good about what I'm eating, and go along with my goals. And all of that did. And then I had 2 slices of cake. Delicioso. No regrets. None whatsoever. And then when I came home, because I took a couple chicken thighs home. When I came home, I had the chicken thighs again. And I think I had a piece of some apple and some apple. Because I didn't have a whole apple. I had an apple and a handful of nuts. Glorious, euphorious. It was amazing. And that's just a small example of maybe having some things that are more on the processed side of what I usually eat, but still pretty much eating within the goals that I have. And that is all. Bye for now.